The following video contains manga spoilers for Jujutsu Kaisen, and spoilers that will pertain to Season 3 of the anime. You have been warned. If you do not wish to progress, be good people, stay hydrated, and thanks for watching. Megami Fushiguro, a Jujutsu sorcerer at Tokyo Jujutsu High and bearer of the 10 Shadows curse technique. We discussed the origins of one such being of the 10 Shadows, Maharaga, in a previous video. But there are still 9 other summons that need to be discussed, all of them having a loose attachment to the Totsuka no Kanadakara, 10 treasures given to the Mononobe clan. So, let's get down to business with the through line of this video, the 10 sacred treasures. These gifts were left to the head of the Mononobe priest family by Nijihaya no Mikoto, as a symbol of kindness from the Amatsukami of Takamagahara, the heavenly realm. These treasures include 2 mirrors, the mirror of the deep and the mirror of the shore, 4 magatama, or sacred jewels, the jewel of life, the jewel of resuscitation, the jewel of plenty, the jewel of turning back on the road, 3 scarves or cloths, the cloth of warding against plentiful things, the cloth of bees, the cloth of snakes, and 1 sword, the 8 hands breadth sword. Together, these 10, in unison, parrot the 3 imperial regalia. The jewels parallel the Yasukani no Magatama, the mirrors to the Yata no Kamagi, and the blade to the Kusanagi no Tsurugi, which we just talked about in the last video. And, when gathered together in one place, the 10 treasures have a unique chant which can be used to pacify or revive the dead. And it goes something like this. Hi, fu, mi, yo, I, mu, nana, ya, koko no tari, forube, yora yora, tu, forube. With yora yora being the sound attributed to the ringing of bells, and forube being the swaying back and forth of the sacred treasures. This chant was used by Omashimaji no Mikoto to pacify the souls of Emperor Jimmu and his wife the Empress, at least according to the Sendai Kujihongi. And a part of this chant is used in terms of the 10 Shadows as well, part of the summoning of Maharaga, something I didn't cover in our previous video, but with this treasure I summon is actually denoted as Forube Yora Yora, to which in the anime Megami sways back and forth, and there is the sound of bells ringing as the Divine General frees itself. And just like with the Hifu Mi Yo, the Divine General is good at pacifying troubled spirits too, though with far, far more violence. With the history out of the way, let's get started. Gyokuken! The Divine Dogs, 1 black and 1 white, are the first summon available to someone with the 10 Shadows technique. Their simplicity comes from their dog-like nature, meaning they can attack with tooth and claw. In Megami Fushiguro's hands, these dogs were the first thing we saw from his curse technique. Not that one of them lasted too long against the finger bearer, but alas. When one is slain, the other gains its ability and becomes a totality, increasing its power to a far higher degree than either on their own. Now, onto the treasure these 2 dogs encompass. Their name, Gyokuken, though it can mean divine dogs, also has a translation denoting them as jade dogs. Jade, of course, being well known in Shinto for beads and other jewelry. And thus, these 2 represent the Tarutama, or Jewel of Plenty, and the Chikeshi no Tama, or Jewel of Turning Back on the Road. Next, we move on to Nue! Nue is a vaguely bird-like Shikigami, conjured by the 10 Shadows technique, and one of Megami's preferred summons, being used in I believe every conflict he entered. By making his hands into the shape of a bird's wings, the Shikigami is summoned. Nue is versatile, with the ability to fly and the ability to send down electric attacks, and also being used over short distances to allow the user to get away. Unless you're Ryomen Sukuna. When he was in control of Megami's body, the owl-like Nue takes on a more manticore, monster-like form, being able to use the top of skyscrapers as a perch, a mythical beast form as opposed to a more typical bird of prey-sized formation. While this could be just a Sukuna is really strong display, It could also be parallel to the ancient, almost mythical air around the King of Curses in the story itself, a sign that he is akin to a legend, and even his beasts take after him. Now, on top of potential alignment with the 10 treasures, the Nue is a yokai in Japanese belief, with the features of a monkey, a tiger, and a bird, while having interchangeably the parts of a tanuki or raccoon dog and a fox. It was a troublemaking spirit that could transform into a dark cloud and fly around, while also making a haunting noise in the night, terrorizing the people of the, get this, Heian era, and especially the emperor, before being killed by a hired hero and cast off in a boat to the sea. This ability to become a cloud may attribute to its electric ability and its flight. Very interesting. After Nue comes Gamma. Toad is, like its name implies, a big heckin' frog. Yeah, frog. Smooth skin instead of bumpy. See, look, my biology degree's paying off. Anyway, it is a support-type Shikigami, summoned when Megami makes a vaguely frog-shaped shadow puppet and calls it forward. And it's a big frog, large enough to swallow Nobara or use its tongue to pull Megami to safety several times. In regards to its appearance, on its chest, as you can see, is the outline of a mirror, which refers to the Okitsu Kagami of the 10 sacred treasures. After the frog comes the Orochi, Great Serpent. Can't get more simple than that. A massive white snake that's entire objective is to bite and restrain whatever it's pointed at. Well, not strong enough to hold off the likes of Ryomen Sukuna for too long, and thus dying pretty quickly after its introduction. The snake is a very quick summon, the wielder having to conjure forth just the shadow of a snake's head to call it, making a quick release weapon against anything not named Sukuna. The symbol on the Great Serpent's forehead corresponds to the Jewel of Life, Ikutama, from the 10 sacred treasures, which is a little ironic considering that it was the first shadow that Megami totally lost access to. And sure, yeah, we did see him lose a dog, but he still has access to one of the divine dogs. Only when a shadow is completely destroyed does the 10 shadows lose it, and the first time we see this is with the Great Serpent. From a Great Serpent, we come to something maximum. Bansho. Max Elephant takes a while to summon, since it's massive and requires a wielder to position their hands in an effort to make the shadow of an elephant. This process requires a lot of cursed energy, but it pays off thanks to the sheer size of Max Elephant. Like the other Shikigami, its unique ability is quite unique. In this case, something real elephants do for play or to cool off. But in JJK, it's something terrifying. A torrent of water blown from its trunk. This geyser of water can fill entire hallways of a building and shatter walls. In the hands of someone like Ryomen Sukuna, it can even be used to parallel something like the piercing blood. Akin to its fellow 10 shadows, Max Elephant also represents one of the 10 sacred treasures, this one being the Mirror of the Shore, the Hetsu Kagami, maybe being the reason for its water-based offensive attacks, outside of it being cool and it being an elephant. From the largest of the shadows, we go to the smallest, Dato, Rabbit Escape, another support-type summon, and one that calls forth a small herd of lagomorph trouble. Making the shadow puppet of a rabbit, the user summons so many rabbits. Like, so many. And unlike the other Shikigami, almost all the rabbits can be destroyed, but so long as one, marked the original one, exists, the Shikigami can be used again, and again, and again. This not only ties into the known virulence of rabbits mating, but also the sacred treasure that is symbolized on their stomach, or at least the stomach of one, the scarf of warding off various things. Kusagusa no Mono no Hire, and also used to ward off various things, Rabbit Escape has been. From weird assassins to Megami's own father Toji to Satoru Gojo when in the hands of Ryomen Sukuna. If those aren't various things, I don't know what is. From a small rabbit, we come to something larger, round, Madoka, round deer, a summon we only see come at the hands of Ryomen Sukuna, made by ascribing one's fingers into the shadow puppet of a deer. It is made of positive energy, it would seem, or at least it's capable of providing healing through the usage of reversed curse technique, something that proved useful in the clashing with the Heian-era sorcerer Yorozu, who just so happened to be incarnated in Megami's sister's body. I'm sure that's fine. Round Ear, if its ability to use reverse curse technique wasn't obvious enough, has the attribution of the Jewel of Resuscitation, the Makaru Kaishi no Tama, a jewel that is used in the ritual, and one that probably aids in bringing the dead back to life. And now from a deer, we move on to Kangyu, the Piercing Ox, a summon by assuming the hand shadow puppet position of a bull. This goes forth a ramming ox that can only move in a straight line. As it moves forward, the bull gets stronger and stronger, meaning the further away it is, the more dangerous it is. As when it collides with the target, its distance becomes damage. And fitting for a weapon that thrusts inwardly, the piercing ox bears the symbol of the cloth of bees, the Hache no Hiri. And that's where our discussion ends, unfortunately. The ninth of the 10 Shadows, Tiger Funeral, has not been summoned, and there's no attribution of one of the sacred treasures to it. And Maharaga, as we've already discussed, is the 8-handled sword, and thus has been explained. When I first did the name reference video, I did not expect to have a rabbit hole this deep to dig down into, finding something like the 10 sacred treasures and the lore around them being used for the 10 Shadows. But here we are. As always, be good people, stay hydrated, and thanks for watching.